Question 1. You're approaching a bridge that has no height restriction on it. What's their minimum height under the bridge? "5 meters, 16 feet 6 inches. Question 2. What should you do first to help someone who's unconscious at the scene of an incident? Check that they're breathing. Question 3. What must you do if you're involved in a traffic incident? Stop at the scene. Question 4. Your vehicle is involved in an incident where someone is injured. You don't produce your insurance certificate at the time. How soon must you report the incident to the police? "24 hours. Question 5. You're at the scene of an incident. What does it mean if there's a plain orange rectangle displayed on one of the vehicles? It's carrying dangerous goods. Question 6. You arrive at an incident where someone is suffering from severe burns. What should you do to help? Douse the burns with cold water. Question 7. You're waiting for the emergency services to arrive at the scene of an incident. A pedestrian's leg is bleeding heavily, but there's nothing embedded in the wound. What should you do to help? Apply firm pressure to the wound. Question 8. At the scene of an incident, an injured person is lying in a busy road. What's the first thing you should do to help? Warn other traffic. Question 9. You're the first person to arrive at an incident where people are badly injured. What's the first thing you should do? Switch on your own hazard warning lights. Question 10. You arrive at an incident involving a motorcyclist. The motorcyclist is unconscious and bleeding. What should be your priority? Check the casualty's airway. Question 11. You're the first person to arrive at an incident where a motorcyclist is unconscious. After you've checked the area for immediate danger, what's the first check you should make on the casualty? Whether they can breathe. Question 12. You arrive at the scene of an incident and someone is unconscious. What's the first thing you should do to help them? Check that they're breathing. Question 13. You've stopped at the scene of an incident where there are casualties. What should you do to help? Keep injured people warm and comfortable. Question 14. You arrive at the scene of an incident where someone is injured. What should be given urgent priority? Check that the casualty can breathe. Question 15. You're at the scene of an incident. How can you help someone suffering from shock? Reassure them confidently. Question 16. What should you do if you're the first person to arrive at the scene of an incident? Warn other traffic to prevent further collisions. Question 17. There's been an incident. What can you do to help a driver who's suffering from shock? Reassure them confidently. Question 18. You arrive at the scene of an incident where a motorcyclist is lying in the middle of the road and unconscious. What's the first thing you should do? Warn other traffic. Question 19. You're trying to resuscitate a casualty who isn't breathing. For how long should you continue? Carry on until an ambulance arrives. Question 20. When should you stop trying to resuscitate a casualty? When they can breathe without help. Question 21. You arrive at the scene of an incident. A casualty has an injured arm that's bleeding heavily. What should you do while waiting for the emergency services to arrive? Apply pressure over the wound and raise the arm. Question 22. You arrive at the scene of an incident. The emergency services have already been called. A pedestrian is bleeding heavily from a leg wound, but their leg isn't broken. What should you do to help them? Apply firm pressure to the wound. Question 23. At an incident, a casualty is unconscious but still breathing. Why would you move them? Because there's further danger. Question 24. At an incident, you suspect a casualty has back injuries. What's the best way to help them? Leave them where they are. Question 25. The area around an incident is safe. What's the best way to help an injured person? Keep them in the vehicle. Question 26. You're stopped by a police officer for a suspected motoring offense. Which document will you be asked to produce? Your driving license. Question 27. At the scene of an incident, a person has become hysterical. How should you calm them down? By talking to them quietly and firmly. Question 28. You're at an incident. Why may it be harmful to move a casualty? You could cause more injury. Question 29. At the scene of a crash, a casualty is in contact with live electrical cables. What should you use to break the electrical connection? A length of wood. Question 30. Where should you stand when using a motorway emergency telephone? Facing the oncoming traffic. Question 31. Which type of fire extinguisher shouldn't be used on flammable liquids? Water, red. Question 32. Your vehicle breaks down on a motorway. What should you do if you can't get it fully onto the hard shoulder? Call for help using the nearest emergency telephone. Question 33. Your engine catches fire. What should you do before attempting to put the fire out? Shut off the fuel supply. Question 34. What should you do before driving into a tunnel? Remove your sunglasses. Question 35. What should you do when you drive into a tunnel? Use dipped headlights. Question 36. What should you do before entering a tunnel? Tune your radio to a local channel. Question 37. You're driving through a congested tunnel. What should you do if you have to stop? Keep a safe distance from the vehicle in front. Question 38. You're driving through a tunnel. What should you do if your vehicle breaks down? Switch on hazard warning lights. Question 39. Your vehicle catches fire while you're driving through a tunnel. What should you do if the vehicle can still be driven? Drive it out of the tunnel if you can do so. Question 40. What should you do when you're driving through a tunnel in heavy traffic? Follow the instructions given by variable message signs. Question 41. A vehicle has rolled over and caught fire. The driver's hands and arms have been burned. How could you help the driver? Douse the burns with cold water. Question 42. At an incident, a casualty has stopped breathing. What should you do to help them? Remove any obstruction from their mouth. Question 43. You've been involved in an incident and damaged some property. What should you do if nobody else is present and your vehicle is still roadworthy? Stop, then report the incident to the police within 24 hours. Question 44. You've had an incident while driving through a tunnel. You aren't injured but your vehicle can't be driven. What's the first thing you should do in this situation? Switch off the engine and switch on hazard warning lights. Question 45. While driving through a tunnel, your vehicle catches fire. What's the first thing you should do if the vehicle can't be driven out of the tunnel? Stop at the side of the road and switch off the engine. Question 46. You're at the scene of an incident. What would suggest someone is suffering from shock? Rapid shallow breathing. Question 47. What's the first thing you should try to do if your vehicle catches fire while you're driving through a tunnel? Drive out of the tunnel. Question 48. You arrive at the scene of an incident. How should you deal with someone who is hysterical? Talk to them quietly and firmly. Question 49. You're at the scene of a traffic incident. What are the symptoms of someone suffering from shock? Rapid pulse and sweating. Question 50. You're at the scene of a collision. People are injured. What should be done when the risk of further collisions has been dealt with? Make sure the emergency services have been called.